Hello, I'm Professor GM. When holding the bow, put the thumb underneath the bow like this. Put the long finger so it touches the thumb and is wrapped over the stick, and then just let the rest of the fingers fall as they would naturally fall. Make sure, very important is that you make sure that your pinky is curved, that you're not tempted to do that. In other words, having a straight pinky, and you're not tempted to do this, because then you won't have enough control over the bow. So the pinky, I believe, is actually the most important finger for good bow control and for a good bow hand. The index finger, just make sure that it's not too much like this, and that it's not like this either. Somewhere between the first and the second joints is ideal for flexibility and control. Once this starts feeling good, there's a number of exercises you can do to solidify your bow hold and to make yourself feel comfortable. One, and I really love this one, is one we refer to the spider with children. And that simply involves crawling up the stick with the fingers, which is pretty easy, but then crawling back, which is harder because you're working against gravity. Make sure you're not tempted to cheat by doing this with your arm or with your wrist. Make sure your arm and your wrist stays really still, and you're really doing this solely with your fingers. Going down, I also recommend extending primarily the little finger and the ring finger, and then pulling the rest of the fingers along with it. So I extend, and then I pull, and I extend, and then I pull, like this. I recommend doing this about 2 or 3 times before starting to play every day, and this is something I still do on a daily basis. Another thing you can do is hold the bow like this with a very straight wrist, and then simply try to push down with your pinky and make the bow go up and then down, like this. Kind of like a windshield wiper. You want to make sure that you're as active as possible in the pinky and that you really feel the work happening from this muscle. You can also put your left hand here on your wrist just to make sure you're not doing this. Your wrist should feel absolutely still as you do this, and the work is only done from the fingers, like this. Make sure also that you don't go down too far. You only want to go down so the bow is straight or parallel with the floor. This is not so helpful. The last thing I wanted to show you is the so-called ice cream cone, where you make a cone-shaped figure with the tip of your bow, again using primarily the pinky and also a little bit the ring finger. If you notice how my hand moves, I'm kind of making circles with those 2 fingers. And you can also do it the opposite way too. You don't want to make the cone too big like this, because that's not so controlled, and you don't want to make it too small either. You want to make it pretty much a standard shaped cone like this.